Next, to represent the class of 2020 once more and reflect as they depart, our outgoing head girl Diva Agarwal and head boy Aryamaan Dholakia.
Respected Chairperson Neeta Ma'am, distinguished Chief Guest, Honorable Heads and Teachers, our dear parents and families, and my very own class of 2020. Congratulations, we made it. Part of the journey is the end, but little did we know that our high school journeys would end in our living rooms. These are strange times, and today is unusual because we're celebrating separately on a day that is meant to embody and commemorate community. These are unusual times because along with the titles of the class of 2020 and the class of EDGI, we're graduating with the title of the pandemic class. While this title is not the most ideal or what any of us imagined to be added to the list of adjectives to describe our class, this strange title gives us a little power. And that is the power to define what it is to be the graduating pandemic class. Never has a graduating class been more equipped to stand in the face of adversity and hold the power to shape reality. As we transition into the next stage of our lives in these challenging times, I find myself looking back at how different this transition was than what we had expected. To experience our first few months of college through a laptop screen was definitely not the most ideal. To stay up all night to align with different time zones was demanding, and to step away from high school without a farewell party felt incomplete. But let us put things into perspective. In a time when 1/3 of the world's students have been forced out of education, we are fortunate to continue to enjoy the privilege of having one and are reminded of the invaluable times that we have spent here at DAIS. Most of us have spent 14 prime years of our lives surrounded by some of the most supportive people who have seen us laugh, cry, complain, and celebrate. Within this home, we have learned about ourselves and the world. Here, we have perfected the art of being balanced by juggling between a college essay and a math IA, and learned to be risk takers by strolling outside Mr. Choonawala's office without an ID card. While we may have had our own separate spots on the 6th floor foyer, we never failed to unite to witness a popular fight or to crowd outside the IB office deciding which warrior to send in to have a deadline extended. Somewhere along these moments and memories, we built a community that has grown with us in the past 2, 5 or 14 years that we have spent here. Neeta ma'am, thank you for creating this haven where we have experienced the power of community, the beauty of growing together, and the importance of sticking together. Thank you for teaching us that the only way to grow is to grow together. Now, as we face a devastating global pandemic, the value of community and the people around us becomes more significant than ever before. As we graduates try to navigate our ways in the world, we know that we are not alone. The community that we belong to follows in every step that we take and in every decision that we make. It brings us together and has brought us together in the past to walk through difficult times. The pandemic has served as a reminder of the value of this community. Be it Lakshmi Raya Maji providing birth control services in Nepal while hospitals could not, Basira Popu delivering 1 million bars of soap in Afghanistan, or Zishan Javed reaching out to over 45,000 migrant workers across India, we have seen that the power we share together is unmatched. The community that we have built is incomplete without those who have taught us to be responsible members of it, our heads and teachers. You have been our frontline warriors. You have supported us every step of the way and have celebrated every victory with us. Thank you for taking on this journey with us. Thank you for being there for us, for predicting our excuses for a missed deadline before we could even think of a new one, for knowing exactly which part of the foyer to find a student after their attempt to upload a corrupted file ended in failure, and for sharing a smile of sympathy as we trudged into school after trying to pull off a mass bunk before an important test. To the administration, staff and security, our hidden heroes, we leave behind your enthusiastic greetings, but your selfless efforts to support us will never go unnoticed. Our parents and families are ground workers, without you and your energy to run across the field on annual day to secure a front seat, to engage in screaming competitions, to cheer us on swimming galas, and your gleaming faces as you wore the proud parent t-shirts, our journey from our blue sunflower t-shirts to our blue graduation gowns would be incomplete. And finally, to my graduating class of 2020, we may have lost the chance to set off the fire alarm one last time, or played the pranks that we planned more in detail than our CAS projects and extended essays. We may have lost our chance to toss our tassel hats into the air or walk down the aisle as our parents struggle to hold back bittersweet tears. But the first medals that we ever won on Sports Day, the chance to have special makeup on annual day, the excitement when the canteen's garlic bread actually had garlic, the sense of achievement when we got away without a lift pass, and finally, walking down the aisle with school flags on annual day after admiring it for all those years. Those memories will still be ours to cherish. Things are different now, but these memories don't fade away. Now, as we stride into this new world, we are empowered with more responsibility than ever before. To be the pandemic class is to apply what we have learned in our lives and felt in our hearts, not to piece the world back together, but instead to create a new version of what we will call normal. And when we do so, we fall back on what we have learned within this home and what this home has prepared us to learn beyond it. Now, as we step away from our little community, we find ourselves as a part of a larger one. Invest in this community. Invest in the success of others. Whether you find yourself performing the next craniectomy, building the next Forbes-listed company, designing the next sensational app, composing the next trending song, or advocating the next social revolution, think of your community and take them with you. And should you find yourself failing to design that app or losing all your money to the stock market, they will be your safety nets and your arms to fall back on. In the past 8 months, we have learned that times change and success and failure is fleeting. But what remains constant are the bonds we build, the people we grow to become together, and the strength that we exhibit collectively. So what it is to be graduating with the title of the pandemic class is to be the most resilient class, the boldest graduating class ever known, because I know that we will be remembered not for what we lost to the pandemic, but the world that we created from it. Thank you.
Good evening, respected Chairperson, Srimati Neeta Ambani, distinguished special guest, heads, teachers, parents, and all of you. My friends, my supporters, my inspiration, my family. I thought long and hard about what I'd want to say today. A few stories, maybe make you relive a few of our memories, but give you a small take back with the little knowledge that I've gained through each of these experiences. However, before I begin speaking about that, I want to talk to you, the class of 2020. Possibly the last time we will ever be together in one place, albeit online. Look at how far we've come. From running around in sunful t-shirts and learning how to spell, to donning full pants and writing extended essays. From getting an A star in that spelling test, to standing here in blue robes, graduating from a place we call home. I'm sure in these last 2 years, we've all at least at some point questioned ourselves. Are we ever going to graduate? I mean, we went through RBAs, tests, exams, extended essays, TOK presentations, and college apps, all while balancing our extracurriculars, village trips, CAS, exchange trips, MUN, student council, TEDx, IOIP trips, and attempting to have a social life. And this, of course, doesn't apply to Aman, though. He also managed to fit in a couple patents, a few dozen interviews, speeches, and a company to top it off. This is all, of course, not including the Forbes mentions and the couple Oscars that he has hidden at home. But look around us. There's so much that we've done together. Whether I look at someone or something, there's always a new memory that flashes before me every time. Everyone, just close your eyes and try to picture all that you've done within these walls. Think about the fancy races we had in primary school. Remember learning how to tie a tie and jumping in sacks, and then forcing our parents to run in parents' race, and then crying because they lost. Remember dancing with drums and excessive makeup during the annual day, or struggling to figure out what's happening in Math HL. Think about trying to sort out meaningless relationship fights that had nothing to do with you. Staying up at night to mug up history textbooks and complete math IAs. At least I remember the countless parties we had together. I remember us learning dances for our farewell walk. And now here we are. Though at home, but at our graduation ceremony. None of this, however, would be possible without our heads and teachers. Thank you for laying the foundation of who we've become today in the most vulnerable years. For giving us the confidence to explore our own identity. For imparting knowledge. Teaching us the importance of empathy in life. For being friends whom we can talk to, ask for solutions to all our problems. And sometimes even giving surprisingly good relationship advice. There are countless memories we have made together that I can recount from the 14 years that I've spent here. From Nimit hugging Miss Benazir so hard in LKG that he broke her lenses. From Miss Nidhi crying with us in 7th grade because 5 of our friends shifted to another floor. Diva and I arguing about who should go into Mr. Basu's office first. Nevertheless, there's one memory that almost perfectly encapsulates our faculty for me. It was the day before sports day, and the core council had nothing ready. Kawasa suddenly storms into Rohan's class and shouts, "Get all of them out of their classes and do it now." Rohan runs out, gathers all of us, and we sit on the 6th floor typing away. 2 hours later, we hear a booming voice down the corridor. "Parera!" he calls out to Jay. He enters the room and sits down in the corner. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Sir says, "I'm a genius." We all look confused. "Why, sir?" And he says, "Parera, did you know the beat of the songs We Will Rock You and Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha are the same?" What? And suddenly there we were, exactly like you are right now, trying to figure out if that's true. Confused, we asked him, "Aren't you mad at us?" He replied, "Me being mad at you is not going to change the fact that the work is not done. You're working hard and maybe lightening the mood will get you a little more relaxed. Don't think about the problems that passed. Think about now. How can we solve it? Focus on the present and the future will align. Think about the past and you will never catch up with time." That is why this school is so special. It creates an environment where we not only excel in academics, but it teaches us life lessons in the simplest moments of happiness that last a lifetime. The school staff, the housekeeping, the security, the admin, the cafeteria staff, the bus drivers and didis, they all play an equally significant role in this journey. The bus didis give you palejis when you're hungry. The security lets you in, given you haven't forgotten your card. Think about the number of memories that you've created with them. It's amazing if you just sit and talk with them. The amount that one conversation can teach you is nothing short of baffling. Think back to that standing ovation to the security's performance on Independence Day. There wasn't one person in that audience who didn't stand and clap that day. There's something to learn from each and every person in this institution. However, all this credit goes to one extraordinary woman who had an incredible vision. An institution that fosters a child's growth and curiosity, teaching children to dream big and excel in the fields that they want rather than what society expects of them. I remember the first time I met ma'am myself very clearly, and since then I've always been in awe. We were in the 2nd grade and Viraj had a fracture in his hand. Short break was over and we were running back to our classes. Suddenly, we see Neeta ma'am walking through the school gates and everyone looks around. "Run, we can't be late in front of Neeta ma'am." Everyone scatters except Viraj. "I want her to sign my plaster." "What?" "No," I replied. "Come on," he pulls me and slowly I walk behind him scared. "Can you please sign my plaster?" I looked at him and I was shouting inside my mind, "How can you be so direct? At least say good morning." And then I remember she sat down, looked at us with the most comforting smile, signed his plaster, drew a smiley, and told him that he would one day become an athlete. He couldn't stop smiling. You never know how big an impact the smallest acts of kindness can have on a person. Mrs. Ambani, there's nothing we could do or say that would justify the gift that you've given us. Having access to a school of this caliber would have been a distant dream for many of us had it not been yours. For that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Moreover, last but not least, the reason why this class is here in the first place, our parents. This journey would have never been possible if you had not envisioned it for us and constantly guided and supported us through it. You all are our guiding lights, our lifelines. We always look at the Michael Jordans or the Muhammad Alis for inspiration, but we forget that our greatest inspiration can come from within our own homes. Our parents have been through it all just so that they can see us in these blue gowns. So parents, this is as much your day as it is ours. Thank you for being you. This school is so much more than merely an academic institution. This school is my home. It is my safe space. It is my sanctuary. It is a school where the quietest boy in class who suffered through anxiety at 12 can grow up and become the head boy. It is a school that teaches you that life is full of impossible things that are merely waiting for you to make them possible. So today is about gratitude. Gratitude for the people who have helped us along the way. Gratitude for this school. Gratitude for the situation we find ourselves in. But above all else, we have to have gratitude for the tools that we've been given. No matter how long we've been here, we've passed through this institution and been armed with skills and competencies that we have a responsibility to use. This last year has been, well, you know how it's been. The world isn't in a great place right now, but here we are, right in the middle of it, graduating into a world that needs us. We've been given the best opportunities, the best teachers, the best institution, the best learning. And now we get to give back by going out there and using every bit of knowledge we've cultivated. As a class, we hold such a potential, such a capability, and it is each of our responsibilities to wring the cloth dry of every benefit we can have to the world. It's time. We've got a moment to meet and not a moment to waste. It's the least we can do. I'd heard this spoken word poem a few years ago, and I'd like to share with you the last few lines of it. Please forgive me for my attempt. I have never done spoken word before, but I'm going to give it a try. This is Complainers by Rudy Francisco. Here goes. It doesn't matter if the glass is half full or half empty. There's water in the cup. Drink it and stop complaining. Muscle. You see, muscle is created by repeatedly lifting things that have been designed to weigh us down. So when your shoulders feel heavy, stand up straight, lift your chin high, call it exercise. Remember that life is a gym membership with a very complicated cancellation policy. Remember that you will survive. Remember that things could have been worse. Remember that we will never, ever be given anything that we can't handle. When the world crumbles around you, you have to look at the wreckage and build a new one out of the pieces that are still here. Remember, you are still here. The human heart beats approximately 4,000 times per hour. Each pulse, each throb, each palpitation is a trophy engraved with the words, "You are still alive. You are still alive." Act like it. My heart has beat about 840 times since I started speaking today, each of which is a reason for us to apply what we have learned within these walls and play our part in making the world a better place. Your life is your own powerful message to the world. Don't waste it. This is what you all have taught me. There is nothing but admiration that I have for each and every one of you. Each time I think of all our memories, I feel even more alive than ever. For as long as these memories live inside of me, my mind will always be right here in school with all of you. And so, to the DAIS community, thank you for making me who I am today. To the class of 2020, thank you for leaving an indelible imprint in my heart and letting me be a part of this family. You have been the reason for some of the best years of my life. Thank you.